There's an exotic primary weapon in the game that is so scary to go up against that it actually changes the way that I play when I know a decent player on the other team is using it. It tops off your health, it reloads itself. It's one of the scariest kill chaining weapons in the game that requires absolutely no build investment in order to leverage it. I'm talking, of course, about Destiny's little sawed-off pulse rifle, the Crimson. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why no one is talking about this gun. It's used almost as much as Lemon Arc, it's used more than Ace of Spades, and even more than No Time to Explain. In Trials, it's responsible for more kills than Jotun and Cloud Strike, even the Imperial Decree and the Ikelos SMG. Its popularity is sky high, consistently in the top 10 weapons across basically every playlist right now, and yet I haven't heard a single word about it uttered. It's the most meta weapon that no one is talking about, in my opinion. I tossed it on today on my stream and used it for 3 hours in PvP, and during that time I put 400 kills in the weapon and racked up 8 We Ran Out of Medals, which is a lot for me in that short amount of time, while opponents showed up in chat to throw shade at my random years-old fusion rifle or the Forsaken Days slug shotgun I was using, but not a soul called me a meta piece of trash for farming with the Crimson. It's bizarre to me because this gun is insanely good. While I was using it on stream, I said multiple times to chat, I said, is this thing even fair? Because I'm not sure that it is. In fact, this little run here on Burnout had me saying exactly that to chat today. So what is it that this gun has going for it that so many people have come to rely on it so consistently? And should you be picking this thing up and taking it for a spin? Let's chat about it. First and foremost, many people kept telling me in chat all day something I've heard before, and that's that the new ornament for the Crimson is a pay-to-win ornament that has a unique interaction with the reticle. I didn't use the ornament because the one I have applied in the gameplay here is my personal favorite. It looks very clean and unobstructive, and I could personally sense no change in my success rate with this weapon while having the new Dreaming City looking ornament applied as opposed to this one. So don't feel like you have to drop the coin in order to make this weapon effective. I used it decidedly without the ornament and had no problem absolutely melting with this gun. Besides, unless you really love this weapon and want to use it regularly, then an ornament for a peripheral gun is not worth $7 to me, or the $10 that you have to actually spend in order to get $7 worth of silver to buy it. Just my personal opinion. I definitely do purchase ornaments that I think look great for weapons and armor that I do actually use consistently, but don't feel like it's absolutely necessary to make the gun work, because it's not. The biggest utility of this weapon is that it covers 3 of the main pillars of modern PvP first-person shooters. First is your recovery and healing. This is a baseline foundational mechanic for any shooter. How does the player get health back? How quickly can it come back? A lot of people overlook this mechanic, mistakenly thinking that it's all about them, the player, but it's not. Healing as a foundational mechanic is predominantly about pacing in a shooter. The longer it takes to regenerate health, or the more roadblocks you place in between the gamer and full health, the slower and more methodical the game gets. The faster that healing happens and the fewer roadblocks there are, the faster the game plays and the more chaotic it is. Crimson takes that variable off the table entirely. If you win your fight, you get your health back. It's that simple. You don't have to spec for tier 10 recovery. You don't have to get a kill and then run for cover and then wait and slow down the pace of your gaming and the engagements. Bungie's fine-tuning of that recovery stat value and HP counts, all of it gets sidelined. As long as you're getting kills, you're staying in the fight. The second foundational pillar in FPSs that it covers is the reload mechanic. Again, many people think reloading is more or less about creating weapon diversity, but again, it's more than that. It's primarily about pacing. Reloads and healing are 2 of the main ways that Bungie and other developers keep 2 hands on the reins in their PvP experiences. They have some degree of control over you and how the map flows and how it plays. But the Crimson negates the need for reloading, as long as you're getting precision kills, which by the way is very easy to do for a burst fire weapon with 92 range, with 97 stability, and with 75 aim assist like Crimson has. But as long as you're getting headshot kills, then you don't need to break combat and reload. You can see that plenty in the gameplay here where I just keep the pedal all the way to the floor. So you can just keep yourself at full speed, running from spawn location to spawn location, not bothering to slow down for health or reloads along the way, as long as you're using Crimson. And the final pillar that it covers is weapon strength, right? Can the gun compete? That's a core question for any firearm in a shooter. How good is it? Can it hold its own? The Crimson absolutely can. The optimal TTK is on the slower side at 0.87 seconds, but that's just one variable. Too many people place too much emphasis on that optimal TTK number and judge a weapon solely based on that value. But in practice, it's never so simple as that. Drang has a faster optimal TTK than the Immortal by 0.7 of a second. But which one is completely dominating the meta right now? It's not Drang, I'll tell you that. It's because TTK is just one variable among a wide variety of variables, including approachability, ease of use, effective ranges, and more. The Crimson is a perfect example. Despite having a longer TTK, it's also a jack of all trades. With 92 range, it can comfortably duel many pulses in most lanes on most maps. But because of the lower zoom value and high aim assist, and high stability, it can also easily duel up close as well, while constantly dishing out a steady barrage of bullets to keep the enemy's reticle bumping around. So that's what makes Crimson so incredibly powerful. It's first and foremost a great gun, capable of dueling in most any circumstance. It's going to keep your health topped off as long as you're winning your duels, and it's going to keep reloading itself so you can keep that pedal all the way to the floor. Which means that if you get decent with the Crimson, you have the capacity to ultimately run your kill counts up in matches much higher than normal, since you won't be slowing down the way Bungie wants you to in order to reload or wait for your health regeneration to kick in. And all of this brings me back to my original question: why the heck do I never hear anyone talk about this gun? Is it because it's old and not as maybe sexy as a topic as it once was? Is it because it doesn't do anything flashy that warrants uploading clips and making Reddit threads about it? I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I do know that the Crimson is a top tier contender that's worthy of both your attention and your respect. If you haven't fooled around with it recently, I suggest you take it for another spin and focus on those 3 pillars and see what the Crimson can do for you. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, then please consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content, and leave me a like in the video so I know what kind of content you get down with. And thank you so much to the thousands of you who have started to show up on my live streams over on Twitch. As we get that channel back up and running, we are affiliated, we're waiting on the partnership to land, but we can now get subs. And so many of you have been so generous. We've only streamed 3 times and we're already closing in on 300 subs over there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That means the world to me. I really appreciate that. Warm welcome back to Twitch and the support over there. Also, feel free to check out my whiskey channel. I know this is really peripheral, has nothing to do with gaming, but it's just a side hobby. And if you've ever taken an interest in whiskey like bourbon, scotch, rye, how they're made, what the history of distilling has looked like, hey, I cover a lot of that stuff over on that channel, and it's just super fun and creative outlet for me. And I appreciate the small community we have over there and talking about whiskey with you guys who also enjoy it. On that note, be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.